Welcome back to 6 Degrees of Suffering. We keeping our head above water with the Evans family. We watching Good Times, y'all. JJ standing out the door of their project apartments trying to figure out how he can convince his mother that it's okay for him to paint the woman upstairs in the nude. Just then Thelma walks up and asks JJ why he's talking to himself. Did he finally sell his brain to the junkyard? Once JJ tells Thelma his good news, she's tripping over him into the door because she can't wait to tell their mom because she knows he's going to be in so much trouble. James and Florida are sitting in the kitchen. JJ says, I have great news for my artiste career. It's taken off. Someone has commissioned me to paint a picture of them. James and Florida are celebrating for JJ. That's when Thelma cuts in and says, and tell them how she wants you to paint her. That's when JJ finally fesses up in the nude. James rejects at first, but Florida is really not having it. You talking about that lady upstairs? The one who be walking around jiggling like jello on a roller coaster? Absolutely not. James said, she does do a lot of wiggling. That's when JJ says, that's it. I'm done. If I can't do this, my career as an artiste is over. I quit. I just might go in the back room and cut my ear off for sympathy. That's when Thelma, of all people, cuts in and says, I actually think it's a good idea for JJ to do this. It would be good for his career. Plus, the body is made to be viewed and admired. That's when James said, yeah, it is. Florida says, but what kind of woman would want an 18-year-old boy to paint her in the nude? JJ said, it's not for me, it's for her husband, for his birthday. Florida ends up agreeing. JJ runs over to the phone immediately and phones Mrs. Brooks. Only Calvin, her husband, answers the phone. That's when JJ panics and pretends like he's the barber. He's calling about straightening her afro. He puts Mrs. Brooks on the phone and JJ says he agrees to do the piece, but he needs 90% down for a deposit. Mrs. Brooks comes over later to drop off the deposit and discuss the details on the painting. James standing up trying to open the door, pulling on his belt and tucking in his shirt, sucking in his gut. JJ goes to open the door. Mrs. Brooks comes in, greets JJ, and makes a beeline toward James. She's grabbing his hand, shaking it. Oh, JJ didn't tell me his father was so handsome. You should do modeling too. James said, oh yeah, it's nice to meet you, Mrs. Mrs. Brooks. Mrs. Brooks pulls out $25 and tells JJ, I guess I'll meet you at your studio then. That's when JJ says, oh, I don't have a studio. I was going to meet you here to do the painting. Florida says, here? Not here. Everybody in the room is turning their gears as to where JJ can paint this naked woman. JJ says on a rooftop. Thelma says maybe you can rent a studio. JJ says, I guess I can just do it in the kitchen if I can't do it in the living room. That's when Florida makes a suggestion that she can just get painted in her bathing suit. Mrs. Brooks leaves and Michael pops out the back room. If the Wiggler's going to be in her bathing suit, does that mean I get to be in here when she gets painted? So fast forward, JJ's getting ready for the Wiggler. He's got his little easel up, his paintbrush and paint. He got a little hat on and a little smock. James is still sitting in the kitchen, Florida behind him, feeding him coffee. That's when he said, a little advice, son? Don't let anything distract you from what you got to do. JJ said, what do you mean? I'm an artiste. All I see is lots and lots of curves. Florida say, well, don't forget about the stop sign. Just then the Wiggler comes through with a trench coat on. JJ says, you can go ahead and hang it up there. She peels it off like a banana peel, and JJ falls back, hits the ground like a jackhammer. James runs over, picks JJ up off the ground, but he's staring at Mrs. Brooks the whole time. JJ finally gets it together, and we fast forward about 6 days. The Wiggler admits that she's been lying to her husband about where she's been all this time. JJ goes to the back room, and they get a hard knock at the door. Mrs. Brooks goes to open the door, and it's Calvin. Calvin pushes through the door without asking any questions, rushes JJ as soon as he comes around the corner, hems him up real good. JJ screaming mama when James and Florida both come through the door. What's going on? This bag of bones is messing with my wife. Florida grabs the painting and shows Calvin. If you paid any attention to what's going on around you, you would see that he's just painting a picture of her. Calvin calms down and they both thank JJ for the painting. Mrs. Brooks gives JJ a kiss, which leaves him swooning.